Today's all going to be about 5 drills that any serious recurve archer should be doing in their training program. So we're going to roll the intro and then we'll get to the drills. So before we get started, I want you to let me know in the comments how many of the drills you already do. So watch the video and then let me know in the comments which drills you already do and maybe which ones you're going to add to your training now after seeing them, in this video. So the first drill is the double bow roll drill, and this is exactly what it sounds like. You shoot your arrow, and after the arrow is gone, you roll the bow twice rather than once. So if I show you with the bow, I'll just show you without an arrow, but obviously you would shoot the arrow. So you would be at your normal position and you would shoot the arrow and the bow would roll, and then after it rolls you just hold your hand there and roll it again. So I'll just repeat that. We pretend that this is the arrow releasing and the bow rolls, and then you hold your hand there and let it roll again. So this is a great drill just to basically make sure that you maintain your bow arm height, you don't let it drop, and also to direct the bow into the target more. Also, you'll actually see this drill being used a lot in maybe Korean training centers, or where they're at high school or something like that. You'll see videos of Korean archers doing this drill en masse, a lot of them on the shooting line, all doing the same drill, because it really is very good to improve that bow arm delivery and make sure it doesn't fade one way or the other, and it's just a really, really good drill. It also improves some of your capacity in your bow arm, because obviously it takes more effort to keep the bow arm up for longer after the arrow is gone. So give that one a go. The second drill is the clicker extension drill. Now this one is something maybe you do in your bow training, something you maybe do after you've shot as an exercise, or maybe sometimes before. Simply, you come up to full draw and you expand with the arrow under the clicker, you expand and the clicker clicks, and you continue expanding 3 to 5 millimeters past the clicker, and you have to make sure that when the clicker clicks, you don't flinch at all, there's no jerking, there's no movement at all. It's exactly how your shot would normally be, but you don't release. And it's really important to make sure that there's no movement on the click, there's no hesitation, and also that you're aiming as well in the same way as you would when you're shooting. So for example, maybe do this drill at a target face, obviously when no one's down range, but you can do this drill at a target face, aiming, click, expand through, and it's a really great drill to do. Now the reason it's a really good drill is because it basically improves your flexibility past the clicker, so that's one thing. It also increases the chance that you will get the clicker in the right position, because if you can't expand past the clicker, you'll feel that you're probably overdrawing, so it's more likely you'll notice whether you're overdrawing or not. But then also third, and perhaps most importantly, is it's really good to prevent any flinching or jerking or movement as the clicker clicks, and condition yourself not to jump on the clicker like that. So it's great for if anyone has a kind of flinch on the shot on release, it's great to start training this. You can start at blank boss with no aiming, and then you can progress to aiming at a target face doing this drill, and it's really great to condition yourself to not react and flinch on the clicker and maintain your expansion. Then when you shoot and you release, it's much more likely that you will shoot and release in the correct way and keep your expansion and then get a good release as well. So this is a super, super drill. Now the third drill is the arrow in the elbow drill. So for this one, you just need a simple device, and I've made a separate video on this that I'll link above here, but you just need a separate device, which you put this device in your elbow, and this just goes in the joint of your elbow, and with the elastic, you position it on either side, and this just gives you some feedback when you're shooting as to how you're expanding. So you simply come to full draw and you continue moving around and you squeeze down on this device and use it to help with feedback on your expansion. This is great because you don't need any video feedback. You can have this, wherever you go, you can keep it in your quiver. Don't need a coach. You can do it at warm-up at blank boss very easily. You can, if you're losing a bit of feeling of the expansion, you can throw it on in a training session really quickly, do a couple of shots, and then shoot back to normal as well. So it's a great device. Definitely make one yourself as well. Take a look at that previous video I made, and this is a really, really good drill to incorporate into your training as well. Drill number 4 is the finger release drill, and this is a really great drill just to improve the chance that you're going to get a clean release and you're not going to have a release that's outwards. So with this drill, you simply form a hook on your 3 fingers on both hands like this. So you simply form that hook and you have this on the first digit of your fingers on the pads. So you have all the pads, all 3 pads hooked, and you form your normal hook and you come to your anchor position, and then you just practice. You simply practice just releasing and using both hands to get a nice, clean, crisp release. Because you're controlling both sides of the release, it's really easy, or much easier, I should say, to get a clean release and not come outwards. You can feel what it should feel like. So you simply come in and you just practice doing that. And you simply just practice the release, keeping it nice and crisp like that. And you can also change the length of it and see what length feels more crisp, more aggressive. You can maybe do a couple like that. Then maybe you can play with the length and do a bit longer. So it's a great drill to do. You can also do it in between ends, walking to the target. You can do it before an end when before you shoot. It's a great drill just to get some of that feeling. You feel the release, you feel the fingers along the neck really aggressively, and it's a super drill to do. The 5th and final drill is the narrow stance drill. So basically, this is exactly what it sounds like again. You do your normal shot, but you have your feet completely together. So basically, rather than having your normal stance, you're narrowing your stance and making it really unstable, which is really going to test your core and also test your balance between the back and the front of your shot in terms of your draw and your bow arm sides. So you'll just simply have your stance very narrow, feet touching each other, and then you simply go through your shot, you draw up and you shoot as normal. So you simply just come up and then you expand and shoot as normal with the narrow stance. But what you'll feel, especially at longer distances, is it's much more unstable, it's much harder to keep the core. It really tests you to keep the core, really tests you to make sure you're not pulling the bow in an unsynchronized way and keeping the balance between both sides. So it's a really great drill to do, and I definitely recommend doing it if you haven't given it a go. Obviously, just make sure that you don't start off too narrow and you haven't got the balance and fall over. So just make sure to have it wide enough that you can still safely shoot, obviously, and never shoot if you're too unstable and it's not safe to do so like that. So gradually work up to it. Start at close range and then maybe move to a longer distance afterwards. So 6th and final drill is the shot trainer release drill. I wasn't going to do this one initially because I wanted to do only drills that you need very little equipment for and you can do without anything, but I felt I should include this one because it's so useful. So you can use a shot trainer. This is the one by Astra Archery. So you can use this, you place it over your elbow and make sure it's positioned correctly. I'll do a separate video on that and do a full in-depth video on that. But you position it, you create the length here on the hook side, you attach it to your string and you create a nice length so that you can come up with your fingers, you come up with the arrow in the bow, and when the arrow clicks, you release as normal. So you come up, click, release, and you have to make sure that you maintain the expansion. If you don't, because this is attached to the bow still, what will happen is the shot trainer will pull your elbow forwards and you will collapse if you're not doing the correct movement. If you're doing it properly, then your elbow should move back slightly and the arrow should come out of the bow. So it's a really, really great drill to do. I'm going to do a complete separate video on it because it's something that I need to go into more depth with and make sure you know how to set it up and stuff like that. But this is definitely another great drill that you should definitely include in your training plan and incorporate into your weekly training. So give it a go if you haven't already.